IVM.
Maybe there is a lag on my end biologically. शायद मैं
No,
कुछ
now
problem
it's
हो गया
done. And now you're not making sense.
Any response to that would be very sexist, so no comments.
मैं नहीं मानता हमारा पॉडकास्ट दुनिया का सबसे महान पॉडकास्ट है, लेकिन ये जरूर मानता हूँ कि हम में काबिलियत है, ताकत है अपने पॉडकास्ट को महान बनाने की. Hello and welcome to As It Aged Well. That was a
This is
quote.
Abbas and I to each other every day.
That was a quote from the 2004 socio-political drama. Not so much political, but definitely a social drama. Swades, directed by Ashutosh
Political,
Gowariker.
yes, of course.
Little bit. Yes, we'll get to that. Joining me from her house is Urjita Vani. Hi, Urjita.
Hello.
Urjita,
I have gotten rid of the background. Yeah.
Yeah.
The much hated, the green screen that people keep texting me also कि अच्छा हुआ पियानो हटा दिया. मैं तुम सब जलते हो मेरी तरक्की से, मेरी green screen वाली तरक्की से भी सब जलते हो.
Now we are back to normal blue curtains.
Yes.
But last time you had different curtains. Now you have different curtains. How many?
No,
how many
same
curtains do you
curtains.
have?
वो
the same
daylight में अलग दिखते हैं. That was the selling point of those curtains जो चिल्ला के वो अंकल ने बोला था कि मैडम दिन में अलग दिखेंगे, रात में अलग दिखेंगे और झिलीमिली रात में और भी अलग दिखेंगे.
Yeah, I think this is the latest, like as in time wise, the most late we have recorded an episode. We are recording at around 8 p.m. today. Joining us to discuss Swades is entertainment journalist Abhimanyu Mathur. Hi Abhimanyu, welcome to the show.
Hi guys. Hi. How are you?
Hello. Do your curtains change color, Abhimanyu?
No, yaar, I've never been to such fancy places. मैं curtains चुरा के लाता हूँ, so really, जो मिल जाता है वो.
Wow. Okay. Entertainment journalist का वैसे भी like the image is not very good and you just added to it, but thanks Abhimanyu.
Yeah. Read it will help.
Okay,
पीछे वाले वो केके के घर से चुराया ना, केके मेनन.
You just said KK
okay.
and death threats आने वाली थी. Thank you मेनन ऐड करने के
No.
लिए.
Yeah, for a second I was also like, okay.
Dark हो गया
But हाँ, थोड़ा सा. Okay, coming back to Swades. So Swades is a film that was always on our long list of films that we wanted to discuss. But I also realized that this episode will be dropping on the 14th of August, which is just a day before the Indian Independence Day. So I thought it'll be very poignant to talk about Swades, which came out 19 years ago, and see just how well it has aged. So before we get into that, Abhimanyu, I think you want to tell us about yourself. You write film reviews for DNA. How long have you been doing this? How did you get to be an entertainment journalist?
So I've been a journalist for 13 years now, and an entertainment and lifestyle journalist for about 10. It was pretty accidental. When I was in school, college, whenever, everyone assumed I'll be a political journalist. But I was like, नहीं, politics में बहुत गंदगी है, हम लोग entertainment में जाते हैं, and now I cover politics in entertainment. So yeah, very nice. Like,
nice.
People getting arrested, people doing this. So I do much more than just movie reviews. I do interviews as well. I head the entertainment team at DNA, and I've been doing this, heading the entertainment team at DNA part for less than a year. Before that, I was with Hindustan Times. Before that, I was with Delhi Times of India. So just moving about, having fun.
You've done the whole gamut of broadsheets.
Yeah, I have broadsheet and tabloid.
Broadsheet and tabloid. Amazing. Okay, all right. Let's get to Swades. So, guys, I have had a very I've had a whole journey with this film, right from when it came out to when I watched it today morning, and I will tell you about that journey. But Urjita, let's start with you. Had you seen Swades before? And I feel like this is the homework film. If you're a Shah Rukh Khan fan, this is the homework film which you have to watch to do homework. But tell us your experience of watching Swades or rewatching Swades.
So I had watched Swades as a child and I was very very young at that time. तो मुझे वो boring लगी थी वो time पे, क्योंकि मैंने वो सिर्फ टीवी पे देखी थी सब cousins के साथ. And I was like, अरे यार, like वो जो music है ना, वो That was my state of mind while the Swades was going on. अरे यार क्या है इसमें यार 15 मिनट हो गए कोई नाच नहीं रहा है. That was my reaction as a child. But and the thing is, you know how like you form like a certain beliefs about popular movies as a child, and you think that like मुझे literally till 2 days ago I was thinking Swades would be such a slow movie. I remember it's like a slow political drama, not even socio. I was like slow political drama, and now when I watched it, I was like, yo, very cool. Yo,
We used to be a country.
yo, yeah. This India shit is cool, man. Yeah, मैं भी नहीं जा रही देश छोड़ के कभी. देश का मैं तो कल्याण छोड़ के भी नहीं जा रही कहीं. So I loved it. I think it easily one of my top 10 favorite Shah Rukh Khan films.
All right. Okay. I think it also helps that we are covering this film after Kabhi Alvida Na Kehna and Karan Arjun, where Shah Rukh is just too much Shah Rukh, and now suddenly we are seeing this very serious, grounded Shah Rukh. But
Yeah.
Abhimanyu, were you around? I mean, how old were you when it came out in 2004, and what's your relationship with this film?
14 or 15 when Swades came out.
Okay.
And
Right.
I was like one of the biggest Shah Rukh Khan fans growing up.
Hmm.
And I liked 1-2 ka 4. That is how big of a Shah Rukh Khan fan I was. So Swades ना पसंद आती ऐसा तो हो ही नहीं सकता था. But I felt like, oh, this is ये जो तुम लोग बोलते हो ना, हकलाता है, ओवर एक्टिंग करता है, तुम सबको आंसर है मेरे शाहरुख खान का. That was my opinion of Swades. And then he refused to do those kind of films because it didn't work.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like मैं ओम शांति ओम ही करूंगा, तुम लोगों को वही देखना है. So I felt a little bad कि you know this guy tried to do Swades, Paheli kind of different films, and हम लोगों ने flop कर दिया. So that was my relation when and I believe कि अगर आज भी release होगी Swades तो आज भी flop होगी. We are still talking about how it was ahead of its time, but I still believe it will flop because it is not a commercial film. It is not a Shah Rukh Khan film. It is a film with Shah Rukh Khan in it. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Okay. But do you think he fit?
Sorry.
Okay, but do you think Shah Rukh still fits the mold that this film creates for a character like Mohan Bhargav?
I think he does. He does because एक Shah Rukh में एक खासियत है that he can make any character likable. That he has done with psychopaths. So this Mohan Bhargav is a complex character, right? And he is like someone who's escaping this, trying to do that, this, that, and yet being charming. So I don't think anybody else could have played this. And he also is the most un-Shah Rukh-like in this film. Probably this My Name is Khan or Fan first half, second half के बात नहीं करेंगे, but that
I feel like Swades, like I have a formula to make Swades a super hit movie. I have a formula. Okay, so कैसा होता है ना कि बॉलीवुड में मैंने देखा हुआ है कि ना वो मूवी सबसे ज्यादा हिट जाती है, नॉट इवन बॉलीवुड, जस्ट द इंडियन फिल्म इंडस्ट्री इन जनरल. वो मूवी सबसे ज्यादा हिट जाती है जिसमें द विलेन इज अ टैंजिबल पर्सन. It is not like a situation. So I feel in Swades, if they would have introduced like you know एकदम ऐसा हरामी village politician जो सबको एकदम harass कर रहा है, ऐसे मतलब बाल खींच के लोगों को, बच्चों को टकला कर रहा है, I don't know, something like that.
You're saying,
proper
firstly, I take offense to that, Urjita. Secondly, you're essentially saying that Swades
why is takla an insult? Okay, why is takla an insult?
No, but it's used as you just said exactly. And secondly, I think you are as एक मिनट.
No, but let me finish.
Okay.
Essentially, okay, I'll finish my thought first. So basically, like there's a villain, okay, and that villain is oppressing everybody in the village. And Shah Rukh Khan comes अपने नासा वासा से आता है, वो देखता है कि अरे यहाँ पे कितना oh my god मेरा देश जल रहा है. He has that whole journey. Just a random.
No, that was just a line you said. Yeah.
That was just a line. He basically realizes कि there is like there's this villain ये जो है terror सिंह, मुझे उससे लड़ना है, मुझे मेरे देश को बचाना है.
You essentially want Karan Arjun का
दुर्जन सिंह. Yeah, दुर्जन सिंह है proper. And then now वो कर रहा है, वो इधर side by side सब काम कर रहा है, टर्बाइन चला रहा है, इलेक्ट्रिसिटी ला रहा है. That all is there. But उसमें भी थोड़ा सा और magic. Like अभी in the original Swades वो जब भी इलेक्ट्रिसिटी आती है, there is no music. I feel उसके बाजू में अगर म्यूजिक होता, थोड़ा सा डांस होता बच्चों का, रुके हो क्यों, ये लाइक ऐसे अंदर छोटे जो इलेक्ट्रॉन्स है, प्रोटॉन्स है, वो भी नाचने चाहिए कि यू नो प्रोटॉन्स और इलेक्ट्रॉन्स को नाचते हुए नहीं दिखाया. आई फील दैट इज द प्रॉब्लम. आई फील वो सब दिखाते ना तो दिस कुड हैव बीन अ नाइस कमर्शियल हिट.
I think no, I totally get your point. Ashutosh Gowariker, if you're
उर्जिता को
listening
बेसिकली
to this.
हॉल में सीटियां बजवानी थी,
हाँ, okay.
राइट, हॉल में सीटी बजनी चाहिए.
So I think Swades and Chak De India are the two films that are held up as an example, like you said, Abhimanyu, that whenever people want to defend Shah Rukh Khan, hey, if he wanted, he could have taken a whole new career path, but he
Right.
chose to stick with this, right?
Yeah.
I think Chak De, of course, has way higher stakes and it's way more entertaining than Swades. But yeah, I think those two are held as examples.
Right.
I'll tell you my experience with this film. So I was 16 years old when this film came out in 2004, and I was in that phase where I was like, okay, no guys, cinema has to make a change. Okay, serious films. When you sit, you should come out as a transformed person when you sit in a cinema hall, right? So for me, it was like I remember the same year Swades came out, Dhoom had come out. And there was this Shahid Kapoor film called, either it was Ishq Wishq or one of the early romantic boy Shahid films.
Yeah.
And I remember,
Not Ishq Wishq, it's 1-3.
I'm forgetting the name. We'll check upon this, or someone will correct us in the comments. And I took my cousins to see Swades. I was like, no guys, don't go to watch Dhoom. Don't go to watch this rom-com. Watch Swades. And I think to this day they curse me कि हम 3.5 घंटा थिएटर में बैठ के एक गांव की लाइफ देख रहे थे. And then for a few years after that, whenever I would want to revisit this film, I would almost feel a little embarrassed. I was like, oh, this is a film that stops midway and lectures the people, right? And now I kind of have come full circle around it where I'm like, no, but the intentionality of the film comes, like this film literally, like it pretty much wears its heart on its sleeve, right?
Now you have become the kind of person who stops a film midway and lectures people.
Yes. Exactly, yes. But I want to talk about a little bit about.
By the way, sorry. That movie was Dil Mange More. I just checked the Shahid Kapoor movie.
Dil Mange More. Yeah, exactly.
Those three girls.
Some
Right.
love triangle film, yeah. But yeah, I think it was New Year's Eve, and I took my cousins to watch Swades instead of
Hey, what a coincidence! I also watched the movie with my cousins.
Swades?
Yeah.
Are your cousins still talking to you? Are your cousins still talking to you, or like अभी तक नहीं?
Yeah, no. So cousins ने मुझे दिखाई थी वो movie, and I was in that zone where I wanted to impress them. So for me, it was like नहीं पसंद आई फिर भी very nice.
Cinema.
Yeah.
नहीं मैंने ये मूवी अकेले देखी थी. I watched it.
मैंने भी अकेले देखी.
This was
like मैंने पहले अकेले देखी थी.
अब बचपन से क्रिटिक के रोल में हो. अब बचपन से क्रिटिक के रोल में थे अभिमन्यु.
नहीं यार, एक्चुअली ना मेरे घर के पास एक थिएटर था एंड मेरे पेरेंट्स को जाना नहीं था और मैं इतना नर्डी बच्चा था कि मेरे दोस्त ज्यादा थे नहीं. एंड दोस्त होते भी तो स्वदेश देखने के जाते. अगेन उनको भी दिल मांगे मोर और धूम देखनी थी. तो मैंने कहा नहीं, मैं धूम संडे को देखूंगा, मैं सैटरडे को स्वदेश देखूंगा. एंड वही किया मैंने. शहर में 1-2 हॉल थे मुश्किल से, तो फाउंड इट.
How many people were there in the theater, if you remember?
फर्स्ट 2 रोज, मतलब जो सबसे पीछे की 2 रोज थी वो भरी हुई थी, बाकी पूरा थिएटर खाली था.
Oh man.
Oh, I remember when I went to watch Swades, it was still fairly full because this is what I was coming to. So this is Ashutosh Gowariker's follow-up to Lagan, right? This is his blank check. This is his blank check. He literally could have made anything, like because Lagan became the biggest film in India, in the world at that, like biggest Indian film in the world at that point, was nominated for the Oscars. Shah Rukh was like riding high, success of Kal Ho Na Ho, and early 2000s Shah Rukh was like Devdas, all of that. He was at his peak. Why do you think Ashutosh? So this film has the scale of Lagan, right? But the story is still so personal. Like Urjita said, that this film does not even have a villain, unlike Lagan, where the white officer is literally doing all the things that Urjita said, like oppressing people. There is that whole victory and like Lagan hits all the beats that we want from a Hindi film. Why do you think Ashutosh Gowariker took all of that like momentum and put it in a film that is so personal, so unlike the mainstream? Do you have any thoughts on that? And Shah Rukh agreeing to do this, going against the type that he was playing at that point?
I think 2 reasons. I think Ashutosh Gowariker made this because had he included a villain and had he included Naach Gana, this film would have been Lagan exactly the same. बस यहाँ पे cricket की जगह बिजली होती. It's the exact same pattern if you look. You know, it's a village. It's an Indian guy who is fighting the oppressors, trying to bring something, whatever it is. So वो बिल्कुल वही theme tempo बन जाता. Maybe Ashutosh felt, okay, I need to try something different. I need to make something more personal. Why Shah Rukh agreed to do this is beyond me. Maybe he just felt कि no, but then you have to look at it this way. The other two releases he had that year were Mehuna and Veer Zara. So he was doing everything. He's like, मैं एक मसाला फिल्म कर रहा हूँ, एक मैं यश चोपड़ा रोमांस कर रहा हूँ. So let me try this also, where I am challenged. Where like मैंने पूरी like I read an article a few years ago where he said he wore 7 shirts in the film. इससे ज्यादा तो वो एक गाने में पहनता था धर्मा की और यशराज की पिक्चर. Like पूरी फिल्म में उसने 7 shirts पहनी है. It's the most un-Shah Rukh like, and I remember in the early 2000s when a couple of his films had flopped, जबकि बाकी सारी hit हो रही थी, people were starting to say, oh, he needs to try something different. He needs to do something different. He's the same in every movie. Maybe this was his way of saying, I can do different. But then he realized, नहीं, but चलती वही है. So he did that. 3-4 years later, he tried again with Chak De India. That also worked, but not as much as Om Shanti Om. और अब ने बना दी जोड़ी. So I think Shah Rukh's, at the end of the day, he's a star, but he's also an actor. He wants to act. He wants to prove to people, and Shah Rukh is a very, very I won't say arrogant, but self-confident person. But he, I think, like every artist, he wants that validation as well. Ab shayad chala gaya ho, having achieved everything that he has to. But if you are on screen, you want people to praise you for everything. So he had been praised for his star power till then, but not as much as acting. Not since like Dar and Bazigar when he was like, oh my god, new kid on the block, क्या acting करता है, क्या करता है. उसके बाद से उसकी एक्टिंग की तारीफ बहुत टाइम से नहीं हुई थी. इट वाज ऑल लाइक शाहरुख स्क्रीन प्रेजेंस. शाहरुख क्या ग्रैंड लगता है, शाहरुख क्या गाता है, क्या हाथ उठाता है. मे बी दिस वाज हिज वे ऑफ सेइंग कि मैं ये भी कर सकता हूं. दैट इज व्हाई ही सेड. बाकी तो शाहरुख साहब भी बता सकते हैं.
He did win the Filmfare Award for this, for Best Actor.
He did.
Because I remember I remember Kajol had come on stage to give the award, and Shah Rukh was nominated for, I think, for Mehuna and for Swades, and Kajol just said, Kajol just screamed, opened the envelope and screamed Shah Rukh Khan. The best actor is Shah Rukh Khan. And I think Karan Johar was hosting the ceremony, and Karan Johar was like, can you tell us for which film, Kajol? And then she was like, oh, for Swades. She just like, oh, for Swades.
But I remember before the awards season, हमारे यहाँ जो 17-18 awards आते हैं, उससे पहले it was almost a foregone conclusion कि शाहरुख को मिलना है इस साल तो. Because he had won for दिल तो पागल है 1 year. I'm like, अगर उसके लिए मिल सकता है तो स्वदेश के लिए देना जरूरी है. No offense to Adi Chopra if you're watching, but
माया हर जगह होती है, पर इलेक्ट्रिसिटी हर जगह नहीं होती.
You were saying
my funniest trivia, I think, why Shah Rukh refused to do any further role after this is because इस साल national award किसको मिला था पता है?
किसको?
आमिर खान.
सैफ अली खान for हम तुम.
Oh yes, of course. Of course.
Yeah.
And Shah Rukh is like, मैं नहीं कर रहा भाई. मैं लाइफ की बेस्ट परफॉर्मेंस दे रहा हूँ. तुम सैफ को हम तुम के लिए नेशनल अवार्ड दे रहे हो. मैं ओम शांति ओम बनाऊंगा. मैं वीर ज़ारा बनाऊंगा. I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
But then Abhimanyu, it was Abhimanyu. Urjita, 1 second. Abhimanyu, it was his Tom Cruise look.
And also because the censor board chief was one Sharmila Tagore.
Oh. I kind of see now why people thought Abhimanyu will become a political journalist. Urjita, go ahead.
I was saying that I think Shah Rukh Khan, like in response to your previous question, I think Shah Rukh Khan also agreed to do this movie because on paper Swades looks like a perfect film. Like, you know, maybe on paper, maybe like a Rocky Rani would not be that convincing, but on paper Swades is very convincing. Because like Abbas said, it hits all the right notes. Like and Shah Rukh Khan has, like, you know, given his acting pura 100% diya. Shah Rukh Khan has given his Shah Rukh Khaniyat in the whole movie. He's too good in it. And yeah, that I was.
That's true. I mean, he's made small things in Swades also funny where they shouldn't be, right? Yeah. And you almost feel like it's like you said, it's his Shah Rukh Khaniyat coming in, like the little romance scenes that he has, the few scenes he has with his companions when he's traveling, you know, where at one point he says कि तूने छुट्टी मांगी, मैं भी मांग लूं, and he says कि तू मांगेगा तो मेरी भी cancel कर देगा, you know. Then like that line does not really have a place there, but he's coming from Shah Rukh Khan, you're like, of course we believe it. He would say it like that. And did you guys? Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah? What Urjita said is that I think the other reason why Shah Rukh Khan said yes to Swades, probably the script, like you say, it hits all the right notes. And then to Shah Rukh, this is coming from the man who made Lagan.
Correct.
He's like, okay, you know, the man who made Lagan is bringing me the perfect script. Maybe this will also go to the Oscars. Maybe this will also do well.
Yeah.
So now Rajkumar Hirani comes up to him for Dunki. He's like, oh, this is the man who has given 3 Idiots and you know all
Yeah.
those things, and he's coming to me. Maybe that was also his thought at that point of time. Ki, you know,
True.
Lagan ka director aa raha hai, अच्छी script leke. Why not? Sorry.
Also,
There
now
are,
that you mentioned the Oscars, guys, I just realized this does sound like an international movie.
It would
is
have
not
won an Oscar.
Hollywood.
It would have won an Oscar. I
Yeah.
still believe इसको भेजते ये जीतती. भाई मतलब there's a NASA engineer coming to India, बिजली लेके. It's a white savior complex film.
absolutely,
Yeah.
yes.
Like गौरव को क्या पसंद है? इंडिया की भूखी जनता, and a NASA engineer coming to alleviate the भूखी जनता, and he's an Indian.
Yeah.
It's
Especially
very
in
relatable for
2000,
them.
especially in 2004, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Which is why
interesting
also, sorry, just another fact I had read कि ये मूवी एक्चुअल में लाइक वो टाइम के मैंने आर्टिकल्स पढ़े 2004 2005 के, तो उसमें भी लिखा था कि दिस मूवी इज पैंडरिंग टू द एनआरआई ऑडियंस, इट इज नॉट फॉर इंडियंस. दिस वाज द वर्डिक्ट ऑफ एवरीबॉडी कि ये हमारे लिए है ही नहीं. व्हिच इज व्हाई स्वदेश जितना भी उसका लाइफ टाइम कलेक्शन था, a major chunk of it has come from the overseas. यहाँ पे उसका इतना हुआ नहीं था.
Made for 25 crores, it earned 15 crores according to Wikipedia. So,
Ouch.
Big flop. Yeah. I remember, I think, was it the Indian Express or I don't know which newspaper, they went out at the end of the year, they went out to ask आपकी favorite film इस साल की कौन थी, and they caught like a Kali Pili taxi driver and they asked him आपकी favorite picture कौन सी थी, and he said Dhoom. He's like, जब जॉन बाइक चलाता है क्या मजा आ जाता है यार, बाल उड़ रहे हैं और ये म्यूजिक बज रहा है. Then they asked him, where are you from? And he was from some village in UP. So they asked him, अरे पर स्वदेश भी तो है, वो आपके गांव की है, गांव में ऐसा होता है. So the cab driver said कि ये सारे जो प्रॉब्लम्स हैं ये तो मुझे पता है क्या है, ये देखने के लिए मैं मूवी थिएटर में क्यों जाऊँ. मुझे बाइक देखने जाना है जो बाइक उड़ रही है. But Urjita, it's interesting you mentioned the Oscars because this film does have an Oscar connection. The costumes were done by Bhanu Athaiya. Who was the for the longest time the trivia question of all Indian kids. Who is the one Indian to win an Oscar? And I was kind of thinking about this. This is kind of Ashutosh Gowariker's Gandhi story, right? A foreigner comes back to India, looks at the destitute people, and decides that no, this is where I belong. This is where I have to bring a change. Just very quickly, I want to mention about Ashutosh Gowariker. So I think he makes after this he makes What's Your Rashi, which is a huge flop. Then he does Jodha Akbar, which is a success, did well and is still regarded highly. And then after that, Ashutosh Gowariker could never really like bounce back, right? He did that Arjun Kapoor Sanjay Dutt film, the last one. I'm forgetting. Panipat was, but it was almost like a studio head was like, can we get the guy who did Jodha Akbar just to do the whole thing again? And he did it again with the current political sort of symbolism.
But more like Padmavat light. If Padmavat was from Palika Bazaar.
Yeah. And Arjun Kapoor was like, हाँ बोल दो वरना नस काट लूँगा. So
at one point, considering Ashutosh Gowariker was considered to be like the international Indian filmmaker who will take us to places, why do you think that failed to both of you, Urjita and Abhimanyu?
You want to take this or should I? I'll just. I think Ashutosh Gowariker got caught in his not in his hype, but I think in this entire thing to go international. Like he tried to go personal, wo fail hua, so he tried to go commercial with What's Your Rashi, which was a very confusing film in its entirety. Interestingly, I have seen the show. The What's Your Rashi is based on a play, I think, or a story, Gujarati story. Okay. And I have seen the TV show that was inspired by it, which had Mohan Joshi. He played a character called Yogi Patel. That was the thing. So that show was very Doordarshan pe aaya tha. Very simple, very shant, very, very sort of Doordarshan vibes. You can't bring that to a 70mm screen and make it all Harman Babeja and Priyanka Chopra. So I think he tried to project commercial in the wrong stories. And then he, jahan commercialize kar sakta tha with Swades, he could have commercialized this film. He had the right ingredients here. He did not. He chose to make a very pure film. Where he probably should have made a pure film. What's Your Rashi? He said, I made something very close to my heart. It did not work. So let's go commercial this time. So I think
Yeah.
every time he failed, he took the wrong learnings. I'm probably the worst person to advise him on filmmaking. मैंने जिंदगी में like photo भी नहीं खींचे 4. But as an audience member, this is what I felt. As a movie critic, armchair critic, this is what I felt कि he took the wrong learnings from every failure. हम लोग कुछ सीखते हैं. He took the wrong things. Thankfully, Jodha Akbar was very well done.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
maybe
yeah.
it was the right people advising him. Maybe he chose to ignore the advice of the wrong people. That is what he did. Or maybe he chose to just follow his heart for one time. But I think internationally,
have you seen Mohenjo-daro?
I have not.
Okay.
मैंने उसका trailer देखा, मेरी हिम्मत नहीं हुई. See, the thing
Okay.
is, I used to love history, and I know for a
Yeah.
fact that Mohenjo-daro means
Yeah.
dead people's mound in the native language. Because
Okay.
उस जगह का नाम मोहनजोदारो था जहाँ पे ये माउंट मिला था. तो 5000 साल पहले उस शहर का नाम मोहनजोदारो नहीं हो सकता था.
Okay. But they're singing.
That was my thing.
Fair
And
enough.
मुझे ऐसी फिल्म्स बहुत बुरी लगती है जहाँ पे अच्छे एक्टर से बुरी एक्टिंग करवाई जाती है. My hint at Kabir Bedi. So like Kabir Bedi in that headgear doing all that weird things was my moment of Nasiruddin Shah ने क्रिश क्यों की? भाई क्यों, मतलब why was why was he there? What was he doing? That was like my question.
There were many other actors in Krish जिनको देख के लगा कि तुम लोगों ने क्रिश क्यों की.
हम लोगों ने देखी क्यों थी? Like एक नाम है जो हम लेंगे नहीं, but हाँ.
Yes. दो नाम है जो हम लेंगे नहीं.
I don't know what you guys are talking about. I don't know. But you were saying something, Abhimanyu. Internationally, you were saying about him.
So I was saying internationally, he I don't think he ever tried to go international after that. I think Swades was his most international film. Probably Jodha Akbar to an extent. But Jodha Akbar was not RRR. उसमें मसाला चाहिए.
Correct.
Americans will like Indian cinema because their idea of Indian cinema is either Satyajit Ray or Rohit Shetty. There is nothing in between.
Correct. Yeah.
That is the only two kinds of Indian cinema they like. So they get Rajamouli, they are happy. They get something like Swades or something, those quote unquote festival films जिनको हम बोलते हैं. They are happy with that. Nothing in between. So he never tried to do that again, probably, which is why internationally he was never that relevant as he was in that year. Lagan was masala, right?
There was a Buddha film announced with Mimo Chakraborty, if I'm not wrong, which was going to be directed by him. But I don't think it ever took off. But Gowariker doing Buddha biopic sounded interesting, but I don't know.
Yeah. With Mimo Chakraborty. All I remember Mimo Chakraborty is his
like
long
what
flowing
is
hair.
this choice of? I think the choice of actors is something we can like critique him for. बाकी मूवी मेकिंग वगैरह फिल्म मेकिंग का नहीं, बट चॉइस ऑफ एक्टर्स कि भाई ये क्या तुमने वर्कशॉप नहीं करा है क्या इनसे? व्हाट इज दिस? हरमन बवेजा भाई आपने स्कूप में बहुत अच्छा काम किया है, बट इट टुक यू लॉन्ग टाइम टू रीच हियर. बट लाइक व्हाट्स योर राशि में भाई आपकी, मतलब आपकी तो गलत राशि थी. आई जस्ट फील यू शुडंट, आप नहीं होने चाहिए थे वो मूवी में. वाज ही लाइक द सेकंड चॉइस? इट फील्स लाइक ही वाज द सेकंड चॉइस फॉर दिस मूवी बिकॉज़ लाइक
we all know who the first choice was in that case.
Who?
Ritik, na?
Oh, really? Oh, right, of course. Yeah.
I'm assuming कि if it was Ritik, like नहीं मिला तो like.
Yeah,
Harman
because
was the
like
second. Harman's career was launched as when you can't afford Ritik.
Yeah, because my problem is that the movie I can already imagine कि जब भी वो मूवी पिच करने गए होंगे आशुतोष सर, तभी सब हीरोज ने बोला कि नहीं इसमें तो प्रियंका के 12 कैरेक्टर है और मेरा सिर्फ एक, ऐसा कैसे, हटाओ इसको. तो सबने मना किया रहेगा, and which is why ultimately it fell into his lap.
You know, if it is made today, I would watch Rajkumar Rao and What's Your Rashi.
That's a good choice. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Yes.
I would watch. मुझे हीरोइन से मतलब नहीं है at this point when Rajkumar Rao is on screen. आप किसी को भी खड़ा कर दो.
But weren't Priyanka and Harman actually dating in real life at that time? I think that was the whole selling point of
that. Was what Love Story 2050 and this
was also. Yes, but I think.
Have you guys seen Love Story 2050?
No.
Yes, multiple times. वो मेरा cringe watch है.
Are you going somewhere with this, Urjita? You just wanted a confession.
I just wanted to know because that movie, for some reason, I still remember all of its beats, and I have watched it only once. Like I couldn't stop watching it. It was like मैं छोटी थी, but फिर भी I was like, that was my first cringe watch, I think, and I really enjoyed it even then.
Okay.
But yeah.
All right. Did you guys know that Swades is also sort of like Ashutosh Gowariker has done a version of Swades earlier in the 90s. It was for a TV show on ZTV. Urjita is very surprised. Even I was very surprised. ZTV पे एक TV show आया करता था called Yule Love Stories. YULE Love Stories. It was an anthology series जहाँ पे हर episode was a new story. And Ashutosh Gowariker did a story called Vapsi. So Ashutosh Gowariker plays a character called Mohan who comes to take a woman called Kaveri Amma back with him to the States. He bumps into a girl in a bookshop which he likes. And this whole episode is, I think, a 23 or 24 minute episode. It's on YouTube. We'll put the link in the description. And Urjita, first 30 minutes of Swades, first 30-40 minutes, and this episode, Vapsi, short to short, dialogue to dialogue, exactly the same.
Yeah, it is same.
It is exactly the same. So the seed of the idea was in his head, I think, from the 90s. Ashutosh Gowariker was also inspired by a book on Gandhi before making Swades, which is why I think the film starts with a Gandhi quote. And like I said, I think it's essentially
Yeah, it is very Gandhi. Yeah,
it is very Gandhi, like the 1982 Gandhi as well as the story.
the story of how he returned from South Africa.
So Ashutosh Gowariker, the third influence he had on him, apart from like the TV show that he made and Gandhi's book, was a real life couple. Their names are, and I apologize if I'm mispronouncing them, Arvinda Pillala Murray and Ravi Kuchimanchi. Were a real life couple who came from America to India, and when they came back to the village, they thought that this village should be self-sufficient when it comes to electricity. So they made the village self-sufficient, and they also stayed back in the country, from what I know. So I think, yeah, Ashutosh Gowariker has drawn from multiple places. We'll take a quick break at this point. When we come back, I have a lot of points I want to discuss about the music of this film. I think the music is one of the best soundtracks Rahman has done. And I want to get to whether this film is too preachy for its own good. We'll discuss all of that on the other side of this break. If you're watching us on YouTube, please subscribe to the channel, like the video, and share it with anyone who you think will enjoy it. If you're listening to us on an audio platform, please rate and review us. It helps us reach more people. We'll see you right after this break.
Hey, it's been another great week on the IVM Podcast Network. On Cyrus Says, Cyrus is joined by his best friend Kunal Vijayakar. Kunal talks about his new show with IVM, A Century of Stories, presented by IDFC First Bank, and goes into some food stories with Cyrus. They talk about all the controversies that Kunal has been a part of in recent times with his YouTube show Khane Mein Kya Hai. On Has It Aged Well, Abbas, that's me, and my co-host Urjita are joined by comedian Shankar Chugani to discuss the 1995 hit Karan Arjun. We discussed the Punarjanam craze in Bollywood, Rakesh Roshan's weird fantasy-driven plots, Amrish Puri being the perfect villain, and a lot more. Folks, if you like our shows, do spread the word. Tell your friends and don't forget to rate and review them wherever you're listening to them. Follow us on social media. We are IVM Podcasts on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. You'll also find all our shows on YouTube at youtube.com/IVM Podcasts. And finally, we would like to thank our sponsor this week, SBI Life. Thank you for making this possible.
And we're back on Has It Aged Well with Urjita and Abhimanyu. We're talking about 2004's Swades. So guys, this film is notoriously infamous for being too preachy, where it literally spells out all the problems that it's dealing with. And the characters are pretty much reading out, like, it almost sounds like they're reading out portions from a textbook of how we should be, and we should be righteous. But then again, the other part of my brain feels like sometimes it is important to just address the things and rather be a foot in the door and address the things so that the conversation starts, rather than be artsy and be sort of very subtle about things, assuming that the audience will get it.
Right.
What do you guys think? Urjita, did you feel it was very, very heavy in parts?
I mean, I've seen heavier movies, so I feel
Okay.
ये उनके comparison में बिल्कुल भी heavy नहीं था. Maybe like I think by preachy you mean do you mean that part where Shah Rukh Khan is lecturing the whole village? Because
Yeah.
I feel
So Shah Rukh lectures it. Then Gayatri lectures the potential boys' family when they come. Okay, women are matching men in every field. Like I don't know if
Yeah.
that's how the natural dialogue would flow.
Yeah, but that's true. But still, again, it is not as preachy as Anil Kapoor's multiple speeches in Nayak.
Okay.
So, and of course, like, matlab, now that we think about it, because in the previously in Bollywood, especially like in typical Bollywood movies, nobody was talking like, you know, an actual person would talk.
Yeah.
अभी हमारा वो नया develop हुआ कि now we need to, like, you know, have actors talking like actual people talking, and even now we haven't completely achieved it. Like, case in point, Love Stories season 2 with Vijay Varma's character, when he looks at his dead ex-wife, and goes, balls tum zinda ho.
Right.
So I feel like if you take all
So
of
it
that
worked
in
for you.
consideration, it worked for me. Yeah.
Okay. Abhimanyu, for you?
I think it worked for me. It didn't feel too preachy because I think it came at a time when we were trying to go from melodramatic to realistic. वो जो बीच का flux phase था वो था 90s and 80s were like as high and as big as you can go. Like she mentioned Nayak and all that. Apart from the term that they used, parallel cinema, वो realistic था, but that was a different thing. But mainstream commercial cinema was very melodramatic. Till now, actually we are there in a point where people have genuine conversations. The best example I remember is Kapoor and Sons ka, that much talked about the conversation with the plumber and everything. Yeah, that is a wonderfully done, natural feeling conversation. ये film भी इसके बीच में आती है. I think, like we say, which is why we are discussing this film in the time, it's off its time. वो अर्ली 2000s में इतना ही नेचुरल चल सकता था. आफ्टर अ व्हाइल आई थिंक द प्रोड्यूसर मस्ट हैव सेड, सर ये डॉक्यूमेंट्री नहीं है, शाहरुख खान है, कुछ तो मतलब आपको उनको वेट देना पड़ेगा ना. द हीरो हैज टू से समथिंग, द हीरोइन हैज टू शाइन, सो वी हैव टू गिव दैट समथिंग देयर. सो आई डोंट थिंक इट वाज प्रीची. आई थिंक इट वाज द मिनिमम एफर्ट ऑफ प्लेइंग टू द गैलरी कि थोड़ा तो हम दे दें पब्लिक को ताली बजाने के लिए. एंड आई थिंक द प्रीचिएस्ट पार्ट ऑफ द फिल्म वाज दैट सॉन्ग पल पल है भारी. द शाहरुख's entire portion of what he's saying Ram sabke man mein hai was would be impossible today. B, it's the as preachy as you can get because it is on the nose, बिल्कुल आपके सामने बता रहा है in very non poetry, very prosaic terms कि ऐसे ही है सर, ये होता है, this is how you should be. That is preachy. I don't think the dialogues are as preachy.
Okay.
Because they balance it with the silences. Okay.
Go ahead, Urjita.
I wanted to talk about Gayatri's character, but you complete your point first.
No, I was saying even the song for example, Ye Tara Wo Tara, right? Like usually Javed Akhtar has this thing of saying things in very simplistic ways, like, but in that song it's pretty much like boond boond se darya banta hai. You know, it's very, like, I get it, he's singing to a bunch of children, but it's still very wordy, very Hindi textbook language, where I was trying to actually look for a portion, but I'm not finding it right now. But yeah, I did feel, but it works. I think maybe it's again because it's Shah Rukh, because it's Ashutosh Gowariker, and he films it in a way where it doesn't really take you out of the film. It somehow still feels like the world, it's part of the world of the film.
I think Ye Tara Wo Tara worked very well for children because for 5 years straight हमारे स्कूल में बच्चा इसी गाने पे डांस कर रहा था. Just all of them dance. This song was a part of dance competitions, elocution competitions का introduction. Just like everywhere the song was there, and also singing competitions. So
I think because Shah Rukh के गाने popular थे and you could not have the other Devdas and Kalhonao के गाने, so this was the most child friendly, school friendly गाना. चलो ठीक है, popular भी है, but it is, I think it was nursery rhyme of that time.
Yeah, I actually found the part. So I mean, lines like जो किसान हल संभाले धरती सोना ही उगाए, जो ज्वाला okay, I'm gonna fuck up the line, so I'll just take it again.
You know what? Children did a better job than you, Abbas. How does it feel?
I'm reading Hindi lyrics in English. Okay, please. But yeah, I mean, I just feel it's a little too. I don't know if it's corny, but it's very like upright citizens brigade type.
I think it is corny, and I think it doesn't appear corny only because Shah Rukh Khan is on screen. He has that effect. Sometimes he can say the cheesiest. Like if you look at some of his lines, they are cheesy. I mean, नाम तो सुना ही होगा is a very arrogant and cheesy line, but it works because Shah Rukh Khan अपने चाम के साथ बोल रहा है. 25 साल से लड़के ट्राई कर रहे हैं, नहीं चलती.
जो किसान
stupid fucking joke in Pathan that I can't believe.
Oh no, Rubles wala.
Yes,
the Rubles.
Yes.
Anybody else ट्विटर पे उसकी धज्जियां उड़ रही होती. शाहरुख gets a free pass and I am a big
हाँ,
Shahrukh fan, but
मतलब
he gets a free pass.
हाँ, वो मतलब लोग हंस के बोलते हैं अरे शाहरुख या
शाहरुख only
मतलब
ना,
वही
ठीक है,
gets
Yeah.
वो इस देश का राजा
like
बेटा है, चलता है.
yeah. The reason I was saying like ये जो किसान हल संभाले type, like it harkens back to मेरे देश की धरती, like which was the 60s. So it's essentially,
Yeah.
but the spirit is the same कि भाई जो सही है वो करो. But let's talk about the Gayatri character, Urjita. What did you feel about her? Did you think
So
she?
I feel like we have regressed. I know this, we keep saying that, but in terms of female characters, we have regressed so much. But I really thought that Gayatri was going to play some गाँव की छोरी side character. You know, जो शाहरुख खान को देख के बोलेगी कि oh my god, you are my savior. Oh my god, मैं गाँव की छोरी, I don't know any better. But actually, she was the aspirational version of Mohan Barekar. Like उसको देख के इसको feel हुआ कि oh my god, I should be more like her. So I feel in that sense, ek to she's smart, she's intelligent, and those are the, like, you know, very rarely do you get to see why a Bollywood hero falls in love with a heroine. And in this case, you could exactly see why he fell in love with her, like right from the beginning. वो उसका मैथ करती है, फिर जो, and उसके भी कैरेक्टर को है, मतलब कैरेक्टर आर्क है उसका भी.
Of course,
like she has her own motivations, she has her own, of course, like बीच में थोड़ा dilute हो जाता है because of Mohan's arc, but it is still there. And I felt like her character was pretty good, man. She did a good job. I no complaints.
Yeah, even I thought she was present throughout. Yeah, she was present throughout. She was never sidelined for anything. I should mention the role of Kaveri Amma is played by Kishori Balal, who's a very well-known name in Kannada cinema. She hasn't done that many Hindi films, from what I understand, but this is one of the more impactful ones, at least in the last few years.
Oh yeah, let's talk about the music. How can we not talk about the music?
I think for me, this is top 5 Rahman soundtracks of all time. Every song is absolutely wonderful. Even like I was thinking, "Yu Hi Chala Chal Rahi," that song has no business being in the film because Makrand Deshpande just comes for that song, sings it, and then goes away. But the song is so good. Yeah.
But
Makrand is the item cameo.
No. Yeah.
Yeah. That's how non-mainstream Ashutosh Gowariker wanted to be. Even
he's like item hai Makrand Deshpande.
who does the whole baal kholta hai, sab kuch karta hai.
He does the hair shake, man. He does the hair shake. That is very traditional item girl behavior, but he does it in his own way.
Yeah. I think
song,
maybe it is the song, the lyrics of the song, no, Yu Hi Chala Chal Rahi, or maybe it is just me reading too much into it, but I feel they like काफी subtle मतलब segue है into Mohan's life in the village कि दिल को एक हुए बेटा दी किससे मुलाकात होनी है जिसका कब से अरमा था शायद वही बात होनी like ऐसे बाहर से देखा जाए तो it feels like a romantic line, like maybe it is about you finding your love, but no, it could be about you finding your purpose also. So I feel like काफी सही lyrics है उसके. I like it.
By the way, this was the movie जिससे मुझे पता चला कि वो लंबी वाली गाड़ी को कैरावान बोलते हैं जिसमें लोग रहते हैं और सोते हैं. I never knew it was called that. The song, the Lori Ahista Ahista is never in the film. I remember they played it in the promos, but the song was completely cut out from the film for some reason. And for some reason नहीं, for time reasons.
क्योंकि मूवी बहुत ही ज़्यादा आहिस्ता आहिस्ता जा रही थी.
3-hour 5-minute film. Ashutosh Gowariker is notorious for making really long films, but the background score uses ahista ahista a lot of times in the in the background score. Also, I think Urjita, you were pointing out something about Rahman's spelling in the film.
Yeah, so मैंने चेक किया है कि A.R. रहमान जी का नाम हमेशा से R.A.H ही था. Like I tried to like go back in time and check if there was some Ajay Devgan thing happening with his name, where you know Devgan का surname काफी change हुआ है, so इनका भी क्या पता हुआ होगा, but no, यहाँ पे typo है R.E.H.M.A.N.Y. क्यों? इतनी बड़ी मूवी है, ऐसे कैसे तुम गलती कर सकते हो? So I tried looking for it.
Fun part is कि Gowariker has worked with Rahman before, so it's not like पहली बार काम कर रहे तो गलती हो गई.
तुम्हारे तो डेटा तुम्हारे तो सिस्टम में होगा ना, कॉपी पेस्ट ही करना है.
I think
the title credits, हाँ.
Print से digital को convert करते करते I think वो A became E. I don't know. Okay, guys, I have a very important question. Did you guys cry in this movie at any point?
Yes.
Abhimanyu, are you a easy crier in movies?
Yeah, I mean, Karan Johar movies have made me cry. Sometimes for the right reason, sometimes for because मैं क्यों देख रहा हूँ ये. But दोनों चीजों से रोया हूँ मैं. But
Okay.
this Swades made me cry. That train scene, the one with the
Train
glass,
scene, yeah.
that famous scene. Yeah, that made me cry.
That is, I mean, I was like, I was trying to remember what impact that scene has on the rest of the movie, like after that, and they actually like there isn't much, right? Like uske baad, then the scene that follows it is he goes back home and Kaveri Amma asks him what happened, and then Mohan tells her कि वो बहुत बुरी हालत में है, मुझसे देखा नहीं गया, and then they play that comedy scene where he's trying to tie a lungi, right? So they sort of undercut that impact of that scene. But man, there's something about that scene that like I think I cried more now this time around when I watched that scene than I have at any point before. Was there any other point, Urjita, where you felt like your eyes welled up?
Again, that Haridas scene.
Where he's narrating his predicament. Yeah, that's a very hard scene.
That was matlab काफी and it acted out so well. And also Kaveri Amma, the very fact that Kaveri Amma knew how Mohan was going to react, that just like
वो मुझे थोड़ा आर्टिफिशियल लगा कि मैं जानती हूँ मैं क्या कर रही हूँ, मैं उसको इसलिए भेज रही हूँ ताकि वो जाएगा, उसको एपिफनी होगी और वो
पता चला मोहन वापस आता है and he looks all bruised, and then Kaveri Amma is like, oh my god, क्या हो गया, and then he removes a bundle of cash and gold. they बोला था ना पैसे लाऊंगा, लूट लिया सालों को.
This is what would happen if Ashutosh Gowariker made Singham.
Yeah. Also, I think the shots that they've used on his journey to the village and then coming back, I remember a lot of them were used as publicity stills for the
and
film.
Also the promo. उस समय ट्रेलर से पहले का वो टीवी प्रोमो का टाइम था. So the promo I remember was those shots, him in the bus, him in the boat. That was and with the background Shehnai playing. That is what I remember of the movie initially. When I first time देखा था कि Shah Rukh Khan is doing something, and I felt like, why is Shah Rukh Khan doing a Satyajit Ray film? Which is what it felt like to me. But those shots were done very well to convey his bewilderment and his amazement.
Which is also what Shah Rukh Khan was thinking while he was sitting in the boat. Hey, मैंने तो लुंगी भी 5 मिनट के लिए पहनी, फिर भी मैं सत्यजीत रे की मूवी में कैसे आ गया? Yeah. The title credits are the music. I think that's a banger. Title credits का.
Oh yeah, that accordion music. Yeah.
Yes, that accordion.
The songs like some things from this are evergreen. Like whenever there is like on 15th August, I'm sure every radio station will play that Swades title song. During Ram Navami, every radio everywhere is Pal Pal Hai Bhari. This background, the title music is played in every reality show for whatever reason when they're panning to the city. So it's just like some things from this movie have just ingrained themselves in the pop culture.
अरे भाई यूं ही चल रहा है का रोडीज में भी दिखाते हैं उनका जब भी बाइक
निकलता है. Any road scene.
Any road trip.
Yeah. I had a trivia question. So this is more like a subjective question.
I was about to give Abhimanyu context that like Urjita's trivia is not exactly trivia. It's just
okay.
You'll
basically see. Basically my question is so Swades as a movie, even though it didn't do that well at the box office, but in pop culture उसको बाद में काफी reference किया गया है. So can you name any one Bollywood movie which has used Swades as a reference in any of their scenes?
Oh, like as a spoof?
As a spoof or just as a mention?
Okay.
Right. Brahmastra.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's a.
Apparently, Swades is set in the same universe as the superhero film.
Yeah.
I was like, Mohan, तुम गांव से बहुत दूर आ गए हो.
Yeah.
और क्या मिला उसे वापस आके, हाँ?
But it does seem like the natural progression of Mohan Bhargava from Swades. As in, like that could be one route he takes. Like because ultimately, at the end of it, Desh Premi वगैरह जो भी हो, he's a scientist.
He's a scientist, right?
Yeah.
He went from Desh Prem to like the entire Dunya Prem, right? Like I have to protect the world and everything.
Yeah. Like if he was genuinely like just देश प्रेमी, फिर वो यहाँ पे आके politics में घुसता, but नहीं भाई को यहाँ पे electricity चला नहीं. Like he's more concerned with that. He's like, oh my god, electricity नहीं है तो फिर massager कैसे चलेगा कावेरी अम्मा का? He's that.
Okay,
But
I wanna.
Do you have any answer? Do you have any answer?
No यार, मेरे को तो ब्रह्मास्त्र भी नहीं आ रहा था ध्यान में एकदम से. When you guys mentioned it, I was like, yeah, of course.
Yeah, Brahmastra to ek hai, and also another one is it's in a movie that you will not expect it to be in, Golmaal.
The Rohit Shetty Golmaal.
Yes, Golmaal Fun Unlimited, the first movie.
Where?
Do you want to like take like 5 seconds to guess where?
I don't remember anything from that film, so I won't remember it anyway.
I have jumbled all the Golmaals into one, तो मुझे याद भी नहीं है first वाली कौन सी movie है.
I'll tell you, वो जब भी चारों के चारों आते हैं ना इसके घर में, परेश रावल के घर में, so परेश रावल is asking तो विदेश से कब आया, and then Arshad Warsi and all they are trying to tell him कि अच्छा ये movie, so then वो दमशराज खेल रहा है, and then Arshad Warsi does this, he looks he's trying to say Swades, but Ajay Devgn is not getting it for some reason, but that was the reference. So yeah.
Wow, that was a deep cut, Urjita.
Yeah.
Nobody would have got that.
So much attention to detail while watching a Rohit Shetty film.
Too much, yeah. Okay, I want to bring up a serious thing, and then we'll kind of go into the categories. How does this film do in addressing privilege and caste? Because there is that one village uncle who is very adamant that as a higher caste person you should not go hang out with person of the scheduled caste. At first I thought the fact when जब वो उसको पूछते हैं कि तुम्हार जात क्या है, and he says कि he is a Brahmin, I thought okay, they are addressing the privilege part of it, कि Mohan Bhargav is unaware of his privileges until he actually is going through it and seeing कि भाई सब कुछ अलग है. फिल्म भी अगर वो देख रहे हैं तो पर्दे की एक तरफ एक तरह के लोग बैठ रहे हैं, पर्दे के दूसरी तरफ दूसरे तरह के लोग बैठ रहे हैं, राइट? और यहाँ खाने पीने हर चीज में वो चीज है. But then when he is giving that monologue to the villagers towards the end, where he's saying you should be self-sufficient, there is that one line where he says that the people of the lower caste are blaming the Brahmins about why we are being oppressed. I'm like, भाई क्योंकि वो तो असलियत है ना, अब उसमें वो कितना ही fight back कर देंगे, right? And then it reminded me recently there was this whole Zomato campaign with the actor who played Kachra in Lagan, where Neeraj Ghewan came out and said that Kachra was one of the most like inhumane portrayals of an untouchable person, where you're literally like he's only just because he's like disabled, that's his sort of like USP to so to speak. So do you think there is a bit of a disconnect where Ashutosh Gowariker's intentions might be right, but the way he's putting it forth is a little outdated?
I think,
we'll start with you, Abhimanyu.
Yeah, I think it is a little outdated, and even that monologue, not in the end of the film, but when they ask Mohan Tumhar Jaat kya hai, and he goes into a, like jati, he goes into that thing. I think it came across as a little too aware. Like a person who has lived in US for such a long time, who has never seen a village of that strata and that discrimination, would not go that hard without first having seen ki discrimination kya hai at that level. Probably he did because he's an outsider, but I felt it was a little too like this guy is too clued in to give them this speech right now. That would have made sense much later in the film probably. So I think they brought it ki Mohan does not see the differences, but how does Mohan not see the differences so quickly is never explained.
Right.
Yeah. I think a movie that did it very well was Article 15. उसमें आयुष्मान खुराना के जो exchanges है with everybody in the town or the village, if I'm not getting it wrong, those were very realistic.
They were, but I mean, of course, Article 15 is a different episode altogether, but I would say even Article 15 has a bit of a savior complex thing, na?
Savior complex, definitely.
कि भाई शहर से आके कोई तुमको बचाएगा, हाँ तो तभी तुम बचोगे, वरना तुम अपने आप तो नहीं कर सकते हो कुछ. So I don't know. I felt there was a bit of that in Swades as well.
Yeah, definitely. So and like but one point I wanted to mention, Abbas. Sorry, Urjita, bro.
I was just saying, but like in a way, I know, like I'm just playing the devil's advocate here. In a way, it was true only, no? मतलब वो अपने आप तो नहीं बचने वाले.
It is true. Portray. Oh, okay, Urjita. No, so I mean, it's the lens that matters, right? It's coming from someone who is trying to tell you, okay, again, so there is this very old Indiana Jones film called Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, where Indiana Jones, played by Harrison Ford, comes to India, to a village, and saves the kids of the village from like a villain, played by Amrish Puri actually. But उसमें वही है ना कि स्टीवन स्पीलबर्ग के नजरिए में जब तक कोई अमेरिकन सफेद चमड़ी वाला आके हमको ना ब्राउन और ब्लैक लोगों को ना बचाए, तो वो नहीं बच पाएंगे, क्योंकि भाई उनके पास इतनी एवोल्यूशन नहीं है कि वो खुद.
In that sense, Lagan was more progressive than Swades. In that sense, the hero was homegrown. The man fighting the Britishers was homegrown. Swades में वो बाहर से आया है, उस गांव का नहीं है at least. And one thing I wanted to add, Abbas, was that your Gandhi parallel has another thing. The hero is named Mohan.
Oh yeah, I never thought.
I mean, he is Mohan.
It's true. Yeah.
मुझे भी 10 मिनट पहले याद आया, not when you were saying it, but I'll pass it off as like wisdom now.
I could be wrong. If I'm like very wrong, then just cut this whole part. But I am saying that if they would have shown this movie from the villagers' perspective, कि आदमी आता है उनको save करता है, then it would have been savior complex. But it is more along the lines of कि अरे इंडिया के बच्चे इंडिया में रह के इंडिया को improve करो ना, बाहर क्यों जा रहे हो? I feel like I could be wrong also, but I feel it is from that sense. No, it is not like villages don't. ऐसा नहीं बोल रहे कि villages can only be saved by some NASA का scientist. It is saying कि NASA का scientist को इधर रह के मदद करनी चाहिए सबकी, इधर रह के काम करना चाहिए. I think maybe so. Right.
So I think that the two things are Abhimanyu, you can chime in whenever you want. I think those two things are a little different from each other. The point के लोगों को इंडिया में रह के यहाँ की प्रॉब्लम्स को सॉल्व करना चाहिए is one point. The other thing is like we never see that, right? We are fed that information that Mohan Bhargav went to America to study and joined NASA. Like we don't. If it would have been, if there was a prequel to this where Mohan Bhargav's parents strived really hard in the village to make sure that their son studied, and they collected enough money and fought all the social evils to make sure that they could fund their son to go abroad and study. That is an empowering story कि हाँ आप गांव में रह के भी अपने बच्चे को बाहर भेज सकते हो पढ़ने के.
And also Mohan sees everything there as exotic. उसको गांव अनूठा सा अजब सा लगता है कि ये कैसी दुनिया है. So that is where the savior complex comes in for me. कि this guy sees it as a very exotic, unusual place that he has to correct. And उसके पास सारे जवाब हैं, which the people who are living there cannot see. That is what the savior complex for me is. कि ये बंदा बाहर से आया है, जिसे कुछ नहीं पता सोशो इकोनॉमिक सोसाइटी वहाँ की क्या है, उसे तो अपनी privilege भी नहीं पता, but he has all the answers which the locals do not, and the locals do need his help to come out of their rut. ठीक है, it works as a story.
But Urjita, the thoughts that you're having when I saw it first time, मेरे में भी यही था कि भाई हम पढ़े लिखे लोगों को ही तो जाके बचाना है गाँव वालों को. So it's just something that you realize as you go along. Okay.
Makes sense.
Anything else you guys want to add, and then we'll do the categories because we've been talking for quite a while now. So we should...
I think I have to add one thing is that of the support cast, usually what happens is when a good film is made in 15-20 years time, you are like support cast. देखो ये लोग वहाँ थे आज कहाँ पहुँच गए. That has not happened with Swades.
That's true, actually.
Right. But most of the Gayatri, for that matter, left the industry after that film.
Altogether.
Yeah. She married and has a very different life altogether now. But even Kishori Bilal, she went back to Kannada cinema and all that. And all the other people, none of them like sort of like, for example, if we see Munna Bhai, like, oh, dekho, Nawazuddin Siddiqui ka 10 second ka role tha wahan pe. Look where he is today. That sort of thing for such a well-made, well-acted film did not happen to the support cast. Is a very surprising thing for me.
Rajesh Vivek, who plays the postman, he had a bit of a moment where for a few years he was seen in a lot of things. And
but Rajesh Vivek was already in Lagan.
He was already in Lagan. Yes, that's what I'm saying. After Lagan, for a few years, there was a point where He was seen in a few things. I also thought the actor who plays Goli in Lagan and who's the cook in this
Yeah,
one,
right here.
he, he's also so well cast and does really well. But yeah, you're right. Even he did not get that character actor sort of
Yeah,
run.
I
Yeah.
remember watching Omkara a few years ago, and I was like, hey, Pankaj Tripathi, because I did not remember that. He's in a 5-minute role there as one of the
Right.
assassins trying to kill Nasiruddin Shah. And I think this was 17, 18
Right.
years ago. But look where he is now. That does not happen with Swades on rewatches. It's very strange.
Yeah.
It's just a offhand observation, nothing else.
Also, isn't it a bit of a coincidence that all the actors that you mentioned, all the supporting actors that you mentioned, they happen to be a part of Gangs of Wasseypur, and
Gangs of
after
Wasseypur.
that, yeah, and after that, they just like got this whole boost. And uske baad wo sab, so I feel like Anurag, I don't know, maybe again, I'm just like, it's a
हाँ
thought.
वो तो
कि
है
Anurag-
कि एक popular
I
adage
think,
है कि once you get in that coterie of makers, then they keep casting you and keep giving you roles.
Yeah.
So that probably didn't happen with Ashutosh. That the actor's name is Daya Shankar Pandey, who played Goli in Lagan and plays Mela Ram in this. Fatima B is played by Farooq Jafar, who played Amitabh's wife in Gulabo Sitabo. So she was definitely a working actor till she passed away very recently. I think that was the last one big role that she went out with. Let's do the categories. Abhimanyu, according to you, what's aged the worst and what's aged the best in Swades?
I think what's aged the worst for me is the casting that we were discussing. The understanding of Mohan, of not just the caste but the village's problems as a whole. I think we were a little too open and okay with हाँ बाहर से बंदा आया इसको समझ में तो आ ही जाएगा, but that man is almost American. And he just understands and transforms the society so easily. That hasn't aged well that way for me. I just don't buy it.
Another observation I had is their American accent keeps coming and going. Like at some point, Shah Rukh Khan got it, and then he just doesn't for the rest of the movie. And even his friend, when he's talking on the phone, sometimes he slips into an American accent, but then doesn't. So yeah,
I think it was the first take and 50th take a difference there.
That's true. What's aged the best according to you?
What's aged the best is the music. For me, that is, I mean, it's very reductive, but I think the music and the to get technical, the use of a support cast, the thing that you don't always need stars. Like that was Ashutosh's hallmark also, na कि वहाँ भी उसने Gracie Singh को लिया था. Apart from Shah Rukh, and the English actors were all new, none of them were. So here also he went with Shah Rukh Khan, and everybody else was new, which was new or unknown. That has been tried later also, and that has aged quite well because all the actors and characters we remember are as these characters. We remember Kishori Balal as Kaveri Amma and nothing else. That has aged very well. That she is that Kaveri Amma for us always. So there's fame actor always. So that has and then the background score.
Totally, the background score and music was also my answer for what's aged the best. Elizabeth is back. She was in Kohra. If you've seen Kohra,
yes,
I know. Yeah.
For like 7 minutes.
But she does what she's required to do in the show.
Yeah.
Urjita, for you, what's aged the best? What's aged the worst?
So I think what's aged the worst, again the caste argument maybe, and ये view totally मेरा पहले से बना हुआ था, and not at all did I think of this after talking to you guys. ये मतलब unique है, मतलब मैं तब से ही सोच के आई थी, हाँ of course yeah. But that one angle, and I was actually thinking the music has aged the best, but again the roles, the dialogues have aged the worst for me. The dialogues have aged the worst.
Right.
Yeah. And I think Gayatri's character, I think it has aged the best.
Has aged the best? Okay.
Yeah,
that's actually quite surprising. That's true.
As a devil's advocate for Mohan, I think काफी अच्छा role था उसका. Very nice.
For me, what's aged the best? I agree. The music, Rahman's totally knocked it out of the park. What's aged the worst for me are the opening scenes at NASA. Apparently this was shot in Washington on location, but they seem so fake. The press conference set seems so fake. And Shah Rukh is starting with some long monologue about how a satellite goes into space. I'm like, मुझे नहीं सुनना है ये सब कुछ भी.
और तभी भी वो नहीं सुनाते कॉन्फ्रेंस में भी ये I doubt if that is the main point of a conference.
Agenda of flight, yeah. I mean, why would they talk to science journalists about satellite ऐसे ऊपर जाता है?
Yeah.
Favorite performances, guys?
Shah Rukh Khan.
Other than Shah Rukh Khan, no?
Yeah,
Can't be.
To be fair.
Yeah.
It's
like asking pizza. It's like asking कि guys pizza का favorite part क्या है?
I'll say Gayatri Joshi.
Vegetables.
Gayatri Joshi because for her first film in front of Shah Rukh Khan at his peak, while he gave his best performance, for me, she was very self-assured. She was very confident, and like she says, Urjita says, ना कि वो role बहुत अच्छा लिखा हुआ था, but it needed some good acting to bring that part out as well. And she held her own in front of Shah Rukh Khan in those confident scenes, which not many actors are able to do. Like I have seen scenes where in romantic scenes or in confrontational scenes, Shah Rukh Khan eats the other person alive.
True.
That did not happen. His screen presence is enormous. That does not happen here. So yeah, hats off to her. And sad that she left.
And as always, I'm a big fan of actresses not sounding juvenile. I love it when they sound their age. Wow, the older
Hindi
they
films
are,
must be fun for you, Urjita.
I know. I love it when they sound like mature, when they sound like when they sound like actual women and not caricatures of Ananya Pandey. So I am a big fan of those characters. That's why
Ananya is never coming on this show.
And never talking to me.
What if one day we do a Chunky Pandey movie, Urjita, and we want Ananya to be on the show?
We can call Chunky Pandey and say, come on.
That's actually true. Yeah, he'll come. So for you, it's Gayatri Joshi, and you said one more name, right?
No, I said it's
Gayatri Joshi. Yeah.
Okay,
for me also Gayatri Joshi.
I'm surprised, you guys. Why aren't you guys not mentioning the little boy who's selling water on the station? His performance. Like, okay, I'm not saying that. No. I mean, I wasn't able to find whether Ashutosh Gowariker actually asked a young boy who was selling water to act for a scene, or was he actually a professional actor? But that boy made me cry my eyes out. So that for me is the favorite performance of Swades, and I'm not being facetious about it.
But it was the music and Shah Rukh Khan's perspective.
Sure, so Shah Rukh Khan definitely.
I'll agree with Urjita there.
Yeah.
I focused on Shah Rukh more there.
Sure. Okay. To each their own. I would still say that young boy totally stole the show. Okay. If you had to program a double feature with Swades, which film would you program on that feature? Yeah, Urjita. That's actually a good choice. Rang De Basanti and Swades. Yeah. Abhimanyu, for you?
I would do Swades and Lage Raho Munna Bhai.
Oh.
Two Gandhian thought films, very differently done.
Nice.
Okay. I would actually just go with Gandhi. 1982's Gandhi. just watch these two films. But it's
also,
interesting
guys, ये 3 घंटे की पिक्चर है, अपने आप में एक डबल फीचर है.
Double feature है.
That's actually
maybe
true,
that's why they didn't send it for Oscars. I think वहाँ देखेगा कोई नहीं.
But Lagan was 4.5 घंटा, so I don't think.
And plus RRR is also.
RRR is also some 3 hours.
Lagan is 4.5 घंटा.
I mean, I'm exaggerating. It's around.
अच्छा. 2 intervals.
मैंने जहाँ देखा था वहाँ 2 इंटरवल थे लगान में.
यार लोग को सुसु बहुत करनी होती है, मैंने देखा है.
Film I've seen with 2 intervals is Mohabbatein.
I think another interval you must
I wasn't very far off. It's 3 hours 44 minutes. Lagan. Is there a performance that you thought was underrated in the film? I mean, we spoke about the supporting cast, so I think they all pretty much stood out. Cool. Let's do the no. But before that, I wanted to mention, since Urjita brought up Rang De Basanti, I thought that. So Rang De Basanti and Lage Raho Munna Bhai, both of them I think were 2007, and I think that was the year where I could actually see movies having the kind of effect that Swades wanted to have on its audiences. Yeah. Where I was like, yeah, log actually like they're coming out as changed people from both these movies, and I think Lage Raho Munna Bhai did the Gandhian thing way better, making it more contemporary, more current than
made it palatable.
Yeah, made it palatable. True. Cool. Let's do the rating scales. So, Abhimanyu, we have two rating scales here. One is the has it aged well scale, is on a scale of 1 to 10 how well the film has aged. One being it's a product of its time and has not aged well at all, and you don't find anything worth watching again. 10 being, oh my god, every time I watch it, I find something new. That's the has it aged well scale. The other is the rewatchability scale. Okay, maybe it's not aged well, but I have fun watching that again and again. So on a has it aged well scale of 1 to 10, how much would you rate Swades?
I like 6.5 or something, because some things are
Okay.
really product of its time. Like Urjita mentioned, the dialogue. It's just very corny for today's audience and today's younger audience particularly. And of
Right.
course the intersection of the cast and the problems and all that. It's
Right.
6.5 thing. On the rewatchability scale, I would say 1. This is not a film that I will watch if I am randomly sitting at my house on Sundays like chalo aaj Swades dekhte hain. I would watch Lagan. I would watch probably even Jodha Akbar.
Even
But
Jodha Akbar,
Swades
yeah.
is like something if I'm in a mood for watching something thought provoking, probably I'll go there. And also because I'm a Shah Rukh fan. I don't think non-Shah Rukh Khans will randomly go for this. They might watch Dar क्योंकि वो film popular थी, entertaining थी. They might watch DDLJ because romantic है. But this is not a very rewatchable film unless I'm preparing for a podcast.
In that mood. Okay. Urjita, has it aged well scale?
I think it has aged well, yeah. It's 8.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And would you watch it again?
Like in a different setting, maybe like with a bunch of my NRI friends, if I'm trying to convince them to stay here. Then
when you will be the Mohan Bhargav for their transition.
Yes. But I think on the rewatchability scale it is 4 or 5 maybe.
Okay. For me, on a has it aged well scale, I would say 7. I was never bored in the 3-hour, 5-minute running time. I think the music is spectacular. Shah Rukh is doing some of his finest work. I like the intention and the integrity with which Ashutosh Gowariker made the film. I was thinking about this, that because films are such a popular medium, the intention sometimes gets lost. But I like the fact that he took the fame of Lagan and channeled it into something that was so personal to him. So I would give it a 7. Rewatchability, I would say 5. Like if I'm in a mood for a really good cry, I would just go on YouTube and watch the train wala scene. I wouldn't watch the whole film again. So yeah. But yeah, I don't remember the last time I watched Swades all the way through. But yeah, if it's playing on TV and nothing else is on, I wouldn't mind just letting it play in the background.
तो वो तो दूरदर्शन भी देखते हैं.
This is the perfect Doordarshan. This is the perfect Doordarshan.
Yeah, it's true.
This is Krishi Darshan on steroids. But yeah, all right. That brings us to the end of this episode. Swades was a film we'd been wanting to cover for a long time. Abhimanyu, thank you so much for taking time out and doing this episode.
Thank you for having me, Abbas and Urjita. Thank you for that. It's been wonderful.
Anything you want to plug? Where can people find you on social media? If there's anything you want to tell them, you can.
Oh, no, nothing. I'd rather not people find me on social media.
Now they will try to find you even more. You know that, right? They'll try to look for you everywhere.
So So I can just simply say that I write reviews. You can just Google my name, Abhimanyu Mathur, and you'll find my movie reviews. I also sometimes post videos of my interviews with celebs. You can find me on @MadCrazyHatter_ on Twitter and Instagram. That's me, @MadCrazyHatter_.
Abhimanyu, since we have you here, how true is it that film critics get paid a ton of money for good reviews?
I haven't been paid ever. Probably I'm not that high in the hierarchy. So if they get paid, I don't even know that they get paid. That is how low in the rung I am. But I know for a fact that influencers get paid.
वो तो खुला secret है.
Influencers get paid and they get paid for stars and everything, and there's a proper deal with a contract and everything. A contract sign karte, and it's not even under the table because it's seen as an advertising thing. But film critics mostly get requests कि आप stars संभाल लेंगे, आप reviews संभाल लेंगे, and it totally depends on how ethical you are and how much you want to please someone. It's never like कि payment तो आज तक नहीं हुआ, but it's more like आप ये कर दीजिए, अगली फिल्म आ रही है, we will have the star cast and शायद उसमें से, तो it's more like a you do this, you scratch mine, I'll scratch yours, but very very frowned upon, and some people might just do it. I don't know. They are probably that's why I'm not getting the big interviews.
So some influencers, I have seen like the stark difference. Okay, like if an influencer is getting paid a lot, then वो पूरा बोलेंगे कि अरे क्या भाई बढ़िया movie थी. And if they are getting paid less, you can see it on their face. Guys, I just watched Rocky and Rani Ki Prem Kahani. It's a great film. Yeah, you must watch. Like nobody who like you wouldn't recommend a must-watch film like that. Even a person with the least expressive person would not like recommend a movie like that. So you can sometimes you can see it.
I have a very short story about influencers and Rocky or Rani Ki Prem Kahani, which basically is nothing unethical and all. That is that Rocky or Rani Ki Prem Kahani had press shows. Thursday evening को Bombay, Delhi वगैरह में press shows होते हैं, where the journalists are invited कि कल सुबह movie आएगी. Like every press show, I went there and I was like, sir, hall full hai. It's like, that has never happened in press shows because there are like 200 seats. How can the hall be full? Influencers are there, na? So journalists के लिए जगह नहीं बची है. At least 3 or 4 of us had to like, okay, sorry. That brings us to Bollywood 2023.
Yeah, that's all you need to know about journalism in 2023.
Yeah, so I had to watch the morning show to review the film.
Like a normie.
I mean, लोगों को आप बोल रहे हो पैसे मिलते हैं, मैंने 250 रुपए खर्च किए थे मूवी रिव्यू करने के लिए.
Will you be reviewing Ghumar, Abhimanyu?
Probably. I will be reviewing.
The reason I'm asking. The reason I'm asking is because in the intro scene of Abhishek Bachchan in Ghumar, there will be a bartender who will be handing him 2 drinks to drink. And that bartender will have a bald head and will be wearing glasses and will be a little bit on the heavier side. And if you... Why, you didn't know this, Urjita?
No!
So I am in a blink and you miss performance in Ghumar. So you better give a good review to Ghumar, is what I'm trying to say.
I'll specially mention you.
This was the fucking... I did not see it coming.
पिछले 1.5 साल से बोल रहा हूँ यार, मैं बाल्की की पिक्चर में लोग बोल रहे कहाँ है, कौन सी चुप में है तू, चुप में नहीं है.
They thought कभी नहीं बोला.
Actually, they thought he was one of the critics murdered in Chup. So like, okay.
But anyway, I'll tell you a fun story about that experience once we wrap up. But Urjita, anything you want to plug before we wrap up?
You guys can subscribe to my YouTube channel @Urjita Vani, and this will come out when next Monday,
August.
No? 14th August. Okay, guys, if you're in Delhi or Bangalore, then keep checking out my Instagram because I'm going to put out my shows in Delhi and Bangalore in September. So please keep checking that space. Yeah.
Nice.
I'm in Delhi.
And yeah, Abhimanyu is in Delhi. You both can go for Ghumar together actually and just cheer and hoot when I show up on screen or my silhouette shows up on screen. Okay, you can follow me on Twitter @Abbas Momin, and I'm Abbas Momin88 on Instagram. Thank you so much. One last time, if you're watching us on YouTube, please subscribe to the channel. We recently crossed 10,000 subscribers, so thank you so much for that. Give us some reviews, some recommendations and suggestions about what kind of movies you want us to cover. We've been getting a lot of DMs. I will very soon read some of my favorite messages that you guys have sent on a future message. And yeah, thank you so much for joining us. We will see you next week with a new film and a new panelist. Till then, goodbye and thank you.
IVM